Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Happy holidays. Today's guest has an extremely fascinating background. She dubs herself as a freedom illuminator embodiment. She's based out of Germany, and she is a human MRI and psychic surgeon, which I'm extremely fascinated about because I'm always interested in the spirituality and these types of concepts. And so I'm really happy to have her on. She goes by Gao. Gao, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Christopher. I'm excited.
Yeah, very interesting. So talk about very briefly your journey, and then I have some questions about MRI and psychic surgeon.
Yeah, I actually love that you are very big on finances, and I used to be an accountant, so I'm excited about that. And Gao Motsemme, who am I? I'm a woman from Botswana, and I've been residing here in Germany for 10 plus years now. I actually love to do this just by extending my greetings to your audience. Dumelang Lokai. And Dumelang in Setswana is agree. It's the greetings in Setswana. And Dumelang is agree. And Lokai is where are you? So when I ask you agree, my question is, what are you agreeing to? What drove you to this conversation? Because there is a lot of things that is happening. There's lots of conversations that are being had. And the question is, what are we opening ourselves to? And Lokai is locate yourself. So with that said, I just invite us, everyone who is listening in this now moment, to take a deep breath and come back into the body. Like I said, I come from Botswana. I've always had this knowing that I didn't know even how to explain it when I was a child. And somehow, because my parents knew, the first thing that they just recommended was just go to church so that you don't get to do that. They don't want me to be a traditional healer. So it was like, go to church, which was like basically run away from who you are. And I was curious. Still, I followed what was recommended, but along the way, for me, my soul did not align with what they were believing in. So I followed my own path. I was just me. And one thing that my mom used to say was just that you are not like any of my children, because I come from a very traditional family. But I fought for who I am. And along the way, I would say I forgot and I just followed what everybody was doing. This is why I'm saying I was an accountant, but it was not something that I enjoyed. It didn't light me up. And I got to be who I am and doing what I'm doing right now because of life. Life happened. That means everything that I thought I was, which is like an accountant, a mother, all those things were basically taken away from me. I was stripped of that. And in the process, when I was going through the judicial injustice, where I found myself wondering, who am I without my children after I lost custody despite going to the court and having the best lawyers, so one lawyer after the other? I tried seven lawyers, but I didn't win. So at the end, I found myself in a situation where I was like hopeless and not knowing what's next. And that was the moment when the question came through. Who are you without your mother? Because I lost my mother as well after I lost my corporate job, which was a big part of my identity. Who are you without your mother, without your job, without your house, without your husband, wife? And at the end, the question was, who are you without your children? And that was like something that really took me back. And I had to ask myself, but who the heck am I? Because I didn't know who I was. And I'm also extending this question to the audience. Who are you without everything that you identify with? Whatever that you put under your name, your role, label, status, and all that, when you don't have that, who is remaining?
Yeah, very interesting.
Which
Um,
is the same thing that brought me to this path where I was called to answer my calling. It was time, like the words that just came through, it's time for you to do what you came here to do. And this is the reason why we're having this conversation right now.
yeah, really fascinating. And thing that I have a question about is how is what you do different from like mediumship or channeling or a psychic? Or people that can, how is what you do different?
That's a good question. What I would say is different in the sense of, for instance, there is psychics where I'm just gonna read your energy and see what is happening and all that. But with my work, it's more, this is why I'm saying psychic surgery instead of just psychic. What I do as a human MRI when I connect with somebody, I get to know what is happening in the body. I like step into the auric fields and I'll know, oh, there's a pain, there is a headache, there is a pain in the left breast, right breast, there is a pain in the pelvic bone, there is a pain in the left knee, right knee. And I can trace what is happening, like the blocks that are holding people from really living the life that they desire or having the success that they desire. It's expressing itself in the body. And it expresses itself in different ways. Sometimes it could be expressing itself as pain, sometimes it's sensations. It's just different for everybody. Sometimes it's even, sometimes it's like a smell, if at all, it's like there's dark energies and all that. Sometimes there is a smell that comes with that, which for me, when I get that, I can just, it expresses, like I said, it expresses itself differently. But here's the thing: when I'm talking about a smell, whether it's dark energy or something that has happened, I experienced that. And for somebody, they may be going, maybe you are having a conversation about a deal that has to go through, and things were promising, and all of a sudden it's like things have turned around. You wonder what is happening, or people somehow that are drawn to you, and all of a sudden it's like you're smelling, but indeed you are. Like when I look at it energetic wise. So even when I'm talking about the right knee, left knee, and all that, it's also, it means different things, but it's more, there are some things that may be holding you from moving forward, whether it's the masculine energy or feminine energy, and I can trace it to see, is it like your mother, or is coming from ancestral lineages and all that. So it's fascinating. It's like mapping where the energy is and going to the core. The difference with other people, for instance, it's more, I would say, it's okay. They see what they see. They can tell you what they tell you. And as much as that information is important, some people, they just see what they see, but it's not grounded, which is something that I'm big on when I talk about being embodied. Sometimes, let me say I'm working with you, and I'm just doing like this, or using the words, because crazy thing is at times people that are certified in something, but they just got a template. They're reading a template, but they're not able to perceive where the energy exactly is logged in the body. But when you're talking about healing something at its core, it's about identifying where that is in the body and removing it, which is what I do. So if I'm working with you and I am not able to know those things, I'm just like throwing everything on the wall to see what sticks and what doesn't stick. And that means if you are not in the body, probably you had a traumatic experience and all that, and you are not connected to your body. I'm trying to do the work, but you are not here. It's like trying to clean your house, but you don't live in it. You have already moved because you are afraid of something. And I'm trying to do the work while you are there. So it feels like it doesn't work, but it's not true. It works, but the problem is you are not in the body. So I'm big on bringing people first in the body. And another thing, also disconnecting from them from the ancestral lineage, so that I can know that if I'm working with Christopher, I'm working with Christopher, not the Lu lineage. You understand? Which is like a big thing when it comes to us fully embody our unique signature blueprint. That is creating life, it's wealth. Is it your wealth in alignment with you and your unique signature blueprint, or you are trying to create wealth but using your ancestral patterns? That is, if you are born in the poverty consciousness, you are trying to create from that.
Interesting. Because when you were describing this, it reminds me of a book that I was reading called The Body Knows a Score. And it's very fascinating because I like recently, I've been just getting into yoga and meditation. And it's actually very fascinating. Like you're not conscious of it, but you're storing these patterns of energy in your shoulders or your hips or areas. And it's like manifesting differently. How do you, when you have a client that comes to you, what are you using? Are you using Reiki, or what is your process?
Mhm. That's a good question. My work is different. Like I said, I spoke about the African ancient quantum medicine. This is, I'm healing the way I would say my ancestors were healing, which is when you hear about Africa and all that, you may hear some stories. I do the healing through my body. I, like when I say I step into auric fields, basically I know everything that is going, and I'm transmuting all these things through my body. That is like an ancient way of healing. And people will say, oh, yeah, it's dangerous, of course, but this is like my expertise. So I'm doing healing the way my ancestors have always done the healing. And I'm not using any method. I'm just like, the method that I'm using actually is like the African ancient quantum medicine. I'm not using all the models that are out there. It's like something that is totally different. I'm doing it through my body. Yeah.
Huh. Very interesting. The next question I have for you is this: what is quantum medicine, and how do you use quantum medicine for individuals to break free from deep-rooted toxic patterns?
Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what I was explaining to say with this, like, this is an ancient way of healing, but with my ability to get into the body and know what is happening, I am able to transmute that. Like when I work on the body, it's like doing surgery. Because even the person afterwards, they can feel it, like something has moved. So I remove that. You can feel the difference immediately in terms of the lightness of the body, in terms of the connection to your intuition, in terms of, for instance, if at all you are surrounded by people, even who are not for your highest and greatest good, afterwards you'll just see people like changing towards you. They're not so open the way they used to, the way things used to happen, because now you are not in alignment with the energies that you're in alignment with. So it's also paving a way as whoever that is not meant to be in your life, or whatever that is not meant to be in your life, it will leave. That is creating space for the new things to come through. And another thing, even when it comes to people, maybe whatever they desire, whether it's a relationship and all that, if at all you are holding on to the toxic imprints that you perceived as you were young, or you inherited from your ancestral lineages, it's like you are full, but you are full of the toxins, you are full of what you do not want. So me working with people, I transmute all those things and then create space for a new canvas. What is it that you want to bring through now? So you have space to receive that which you desire.
You said something that was very fascinating that really sparked my interest, is because I'm always on a path of growth, and I noticed that kind of people that I was in alignment with can start to see these shifts, or just you're starting to see parting, going different, the beginnings of going different directions. What is this idea of integrating? Why should you integrate masculine and feminine, and how does this integration impact the professional relationships for your clients?
That's a great question. When we go back to the masculine and the feminine energy, these are the principles that each and every one of us has.
Yeah.
And it takes us back to for instance, the mind, the logic and the intuitive aspect of ourselves, right? So we all have them. That means if we have not integrated this part, and this is a big thing, you find that even like when it comes to relationship, whether you have a problem with men or with women, friendship, professional, and all that, you realize that often the conflict that you see outside is the conflict that it's reflecting the conflict that is within us. So what I find when I say this is a big one is because I was having conversation this past 2 weeks. Most people who were coming through were more entrepreneurs. And I realized that like they were moving from traditional jobs to now do their own thing. But then there was a conflict. At times you realize that the masculine is still holding into the old traditional job, like this is what you have to do, the logic and all that. But then this person has this gift, whether they're intuitive and all that. And this is like what lights them up. They feel excited when they're following their intuition, when they follow the guidance that is coming from within. They also win in life, but they tend to sabotage this because they don't want to, like, they're not listening to themselves. They're more like in the mind, this is what makes sense. But at times you don't have to do what makes sense, especially if you really want to win. You get to follow your guidance. Sometimes it may not make sense to the mind, because I always say this, the mind is always open in the history. What is it that you know? That means you're going to keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. But when you follow what you do not know, it's like you're accessing that wisdom. You understand? So if there is a conflict of the masculine and the feminine, maybe the masculine is, this is the traditional role. You've worked for this, you've got qualification for this. So you can't go in and, what are you talking about intuition? Who would even understand that? What are you talking like you're stupid or something like that? And that's my experience as well. So if there is a conflict within, then what is the best way? Procrastinate. Don't do anything. because nothing makes sense. You self-sabotage because nothing makes sense. But when the two are integrated, they're harmonized. You work together as a team. When the feminine energy is bringing in that inspiration, the masculine, like the structure, it has the container to hold whatever that the feminine is bringing through. And then you take action from the masculine because you are in agreement, you are in agreement and in alignment with the vision, rather than when the masculine does not get the vision and the feminine is bringing all this inspiration and you don't do anything. And it's another thing, even when you are operating from the masculine energy only, that is, you're going to take action for the sake of what? Taking action. Is it in alignment? Is it inspired action? No, it's just that I have to. This is why people often are in the do and they end up burning out because they feel like they have to do it. They just have to hustle. I have to push through. And this is something that I pick up a lot. It doesn't matter how successful you are. I've come across people who, when I just connect with them, it's like a heart attack is about to happen anytime, but yet they're crashing it. But because of the templates that are coming from, and like templates, wounds and fears and all that, then the masculine is in overdrive. And especially in the moment where right now, when I look at the personal development, it's more giving the mind more power than other aspects. And other aspects, I'm talking about the heart and the body. Is your body in alignment? Is your heart in alignment? Because this whole makes a team, and the mind as well. So there is no balance. People are only functioning with one thing. The mind is saying yes, but the body, the heart, your soul is, I don't agree with that. It doesn't feel safe, but you don't even listen to that. You just push through. So it's very vital, even when it comes to relationships, for me to be able to understand and hold space for my partner. It's good when I have a relationship with my masculine energy. Otherwise, I'm going to project my masculine wounds to my partner and vice versa, or projecting the feminine wounds to the masculine. So when you are balanced, it creates that safety, and it also creates, when I talk about presence, because when it comes to leadership or business or anything, presence is key, even communication. If I'm coming from those bled aspects and wounds and all that, I'm going to hear what I fear. I'm going to filter what is being said because I feel like maybe I'm being attacked or something like that. So it's a very important aspect of ourselves when you're talking about leading from wholeness or being in relationships from wholeness.
Really, the next question I have for you is this area of, you talk about sexual alchemy and discuss the concept of sexual alchemy and personal transformation, what it is, what it involves, and how can it catalyze changes in a person's life.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to sexual energy, is life, is the energy that makes us say yes to life. It's connected to our purpose, it's connected to our creativity, it's connected to joy, pleasure, beauty. But many different things, religions, tribal agreements, society, culture, even political or even education have somehow taught us to be ashamed. It's like we are born into shame when it comes to this natural desires and energy that we have. So it's something that we have not fully accepted. It's like we are listening to what everybody says about this. We love it and we're ashamed of it. It's actually just like money. It has the same energy of money. We want it, and when we have it, we like ashamed of it at the same time or afraid of it. So it has those dynamics. But when you are disconnected from this energy, one thing that I find a lot is the disconnection from this energy. It leads to, I would say, one of the first is depression. You don't feel alive. The energy is not flowing in the body. You do not, even most people, when they say, I do not know what I want to do, whether it's purpose or anything, is because they're disconnected somehow from this energy, because it's the energy that pulls you towards something. You get inspired, is the desire. What do you desire to do? So often people who have either, whether there has been sexual abuse or anything, or the shame, often it's just like shame of being who you are, of having the desires that you have. If you have the shame with your sexual energy, you cannot feel comfortable with your desires, whether you want to be a millionaire, whatever that you want, or you want this beautiful girl, or you want a beautiful bag, or something like that. Because like I said, it's connected to beauty and pleasure, creativity and all that. If you do not have that, because it's the fire that is within you, it's like really that fiery energy, is that passion. So when you are disconnected from it, you find yourself being depressed, and often people who have this repressed, they also have those suicidal thoughts and all that. So how can you really perform in your business or even at work when this energy is repressed? It's really the life force energy that makes us say yes to life. And when I look at it, even when I'm talking about cultures, it's also been limited to just procreation, like just for making children and all that, and that's it. And for women, it's more like women, you just get to serve men, and men are also just using it just because they're not processing their emotions. So when they have emotions, like they're gonna meet with somebody and then sexual activity, and that's it.
Mm.
So when you do that, it's like you are just getting rid of it instead of embracing its sacredness and also allowing it to guide you, because it's the energy that multiplies. Where are you using it? If at all you are using it to directing it to what you want, then you're gonna be successful. If at all it's more okay, fine, I just want to get rid of my emotions because I don't know how to process that, then it's gonna work against you, because it's like more creating the toxicity. And when I look at it again energetic wise, when you connect with somebody, especially sexually, it's bigger than just okay, fine, we had sex and that's it. You stay connected, you merge that energy, your energy with theirs. So when people's energy, or they have entities or they have low vibrations, that means you are dipping into that. When someone comes, especially as a woman, and they have that connection or that sexual activity, and they have emotions, anger and all that, guess what they're doing? They're releasing all these things into that woman, especially that when I look at women, our sexual organs are inside. That means somebody is leaving all that within you. What is somebody going to create from this mess that is being left in there? So it's something that we need to be cautious of it. Where are we using it? How am I creating with it? Even when I'm making love with somebody, what am I creating? And for me, it's not even about just making love with your partner. It's more making love with life. Because whatever that we desire when it comes to the catalyst of creation, is that energy that catalyzes creation. This is why which brings us back to the feeling. When you want something and you say you want 100,000, okay, you don't feel anything. I just want 100,000. What do you want to do with it? Right? Then we go there, what you want to do with it. How would it feel for you to have that? When you step into it, now we are coming back into what? Into the body, into the desire, into that experience when you're having it. It doesn't matter whether it's like a home, it doesn't matter whether it's a trip, it doesn't matter whether it's you meeting your beloved. You can feel that pull within your body. If at all you are somebody of impact, you imagine how it feels when I have a room full of people and you are creating that impact. You are in your body, you get to create that. And the universe listens to how we feel, the frequency, the vibrations, not what we say. So it's very important.
Interesting. How can people find you and follow you and reach out to you?
I'm available on social media. How my website is, yeah, it is a bit of a problem right now, but it's howmotsemme.com. It's still being worked on. And magnetic confidence in Instagram. But the most important thing, there's a link that I'm sharing with you, where I'm inviting people to book a call to find out exactly what is broken there, what is broken their success, especially now that we move into 2025. You've made plans, goals, intentions year after year, and you are here. Nothing has changed, because it's not the year that makes our dreams come true. The calendar will change, but what the year gives us is who we are being. So the best thing that I always recommend is you hear a lot of experts, because I know Christopher has a lot of amazing experts that comes through. A lot of stuff is like information, but information is not enough to transform your life. So what I would just advise is take a leap. Hear that whisper in your soul and book that call, so that I can help you find what is blocking your success. And next year, this time around, you can just say, I'm just grateful for the conversation that I had when I listened to Christopher's podcast.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Keep up the great work and happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.